Good night, good night. So, I'm going through a couple of things. My back is feeling a lot better. I've been taking my muscle relaxers and another pill that actually also treats arthritis. So far that's been going very well. I was able to walk my 2 miles today, so I'm back on that. And then, of course, just working throughout the day was a lot easier. I'm thankful that I got through that, and for the people that are around me that helped, great. And my mom has been calling me nonstop, dad doing video calls and stuff like that. So my peoples was definitely in my corner. They were like, "Yo, we'll come up there," and I'm like, "I'm okay now, thank you." I just wanted to just letting everybody know, hey, I'm not feeling too well. If I needed somebody, they would be up here. But thankfully, I'm okay. So I've gotten through that rough patch right there, but still watching out and being ever vigilant, especially with taking these pills and everything, making sure that I'm okay to do so. But that's the importance of community. That's the importance of the extended family, and that's how it helps you in the long run. So definitely something that I always talk about and quote unquote preach. I'm a little pulpit here, but I wanted to come here tonight and just make I was just in a stream of consciousness in terms of thinking, filling gaps, finding ways, finding opportunities, finding ways to make money. So for instance, in my case, they pretty much, when they discharged me, there was no ride. I live in a small town, 15,000 people or so. I'm not sure if I said this in the last video. I don't remember exactly. But essentially, there's no Uber. There's none of the big city stuff that you would expect. And I want to expound on that. Now, what that creates or what that provides is an opportunity for myself. Okay, I know about Uber. I know its benefits. I know how good it can actually be. The only thing is, Uber around here may not be a big deal. Talk to the gentleman that actually drove me home and helped me out the other night. Talked to him today while he was tearing down my barn. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, listen, man, what are your thoughts on Uber in the area?" He was like, "Man, that would be cool. Not a lot of people do it. And nobody really does it. They always go to the larger cities and stuff like that. But nobody really does it around here." And I was like, huh, okay. So that means there's a market. That means there's a bit of a need. He even went further along and talked about DoorDash. He was like, it took them a while before they even got DoorDash here, just so they can actually do deliveries. So that means you would have to go to the restaurant and do all your deliveries and everything. So that made me think. I was like, okay, so that means I could do Uber and I could do DoorDash. If somebody's not being able to do like a DoorDash or something like that, I can go out and deliver food and whatever. So that's something that's pretty cool. I'm not sure about the delivering of food. You have to have a certain level of patience for that. So who knows? That'll be something that I'm going to be thinking about. I would think, of course, you still have to have a certain level of patience when you're doing Uber as well. But it's usually pick them up, drop them off, and that's really it. I mean, as far as like when I drove Uber or when I drive in Uber as a client, I don't really say much. You could talk if you want, but nothing serious. But I think it's something when you're in those situations, laying in the hospital hallway, and just focusing on my breathing, and then at the end of it, they just pretty much boop, kick you out the door, and I'm like, okay, well, there's no ride. And instead of seeing like, oh my God, this is what happens, a little bit what I went into in the last video of just like, this is what happens when you're alone. You're an individual. You're alone in this cold, cruel world. Oh God. Oh God. But also thinking, hey, listen, this is an opportunity. If I didn't have anybody else around me, then how could I actually make this work? How can you actually do this for others as well? So it's definitely something to think about. It is definitely something that I'm going to research a little bit more. I've already done the registration, and I think I just need to give them my old driver's license because my new driver's license it doesn't have much driving history on it. It's only a couple months old now. So I'm going through that registration, but the point of all of this is, hey, there's opportunities out there. If you're in a small town like myself, or a small town area, or a small population area, sparsely populated, then there's things that you can do to actually improve your situation. There's ways that you can actually bring big city like features or products and services to a smaller town. That's kind of one of the things that you see even with Walmart, with car dealerships, with larger fast food chains. They're bringing a lot of these quote unquote amenities or big city amenities to a smaller town. Now, what that does is it actually increases taxes over time. So this is why you pay such a large tax in states like, or areas like South Florida, even larger cities, places like even Atlanta. The cost of living and the taxation is a little bit higher, simply because they have more amenities. They have more things that they actually have to worry about. When you're living in a small town, you actually get quite a bit of a discount, quote unquote, more bang for your buck. And then you can always drive to a larger town if you wanted to. So it's things like that, you have to look at and understand that, hey, this is why these things are like that in terms of the pricing and what you have to pay that you can actually, I guess you would say, quote unquote, live in an area or enjoy all the amenities in an area. One thing I miss about Florida is that I could go to, say, a Walmart or any other place because they'll be 24 hours. Even the Walgreens will be 24 hours. There are some 24-hour places around here too, but it's it's not many. Everything really closes around 2 o'clock here. The Lowe's closes at 9. Walmart closes at 11. Kroger closes at 12, which is pretty cool. That's pretty much it. There's not much after that. Oh, Circle K is kind of like the 7-Elevens up here. If I was to make a correlation, but you could see where if you, in a sense, build it, they will come, and that's kind of a cool thing. That's really a cool thing, but you do have to be careful nonetheless, because with these areas, there are a lot of like meth addicts in the area. There are a lot of unknowns for myself because I haven't lived in this area for a long period of time. I'm not really from here. So those are things that I worry about and have to think about. I mean, I always got my piece on me, but you never want to put yourself in a situation where you actually have to use your gun. With that, the only other thing is there will be some planning videos coming up pretty soon. I'm actually I'm thinking about my planning video in terms of planning out my day. Just actually using the actual plan that I put out for myself before actually making a video on it and talking a little bit more about it, of like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. It's more or less like, hey, listen, this is what I've been doing, and these are the results that I've been getting. So that's coming up pretty soon. Another planning video is the cash flow, or planning the flow of cash video, where I go through what my plan is in terms of money coming in, where it goes to, and where I want it to go to eventually. So that's dealing with like things like debt, and or dealing with things like my debt, and then also dealing with any other things that I want to do, or things that I want to talk about in terms of what I want this money to do for me in the long run. But all right, that's pretty much it. As always, thanks for listening, and I appreciate you. Peace.